Is that my drink?
Yes.
Lovely, thank you very much. So we are here to talk about the final episode of Kenobi. I suppose talk about the whole thing, given we didn't do the first four. Which we did last week, which is 5. And there obviously will be spoilers ahead because we need to talk about the fact that it's ended and what that means and what happened and all the rest of it. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to see spoilers, now's the time to bugger off and come back later. And they've gone. Yeah. What did you think?
I liked it. I think it kind of. Obviously, we talked about this with the review of the last one. I think part of the issue with it is because ultimately the fate of all of the characters, all of the main characters. There was literally no tension at all. It was very much being set up with the whole, what's going to happen to this character? What's going to happen in a normal show?
Yeah.
It'd be like, what's going to happen to this character? Oh my god, how are they going to go to this? And it's just like, you're sat there watching it. Well, we know they get out of it because in 10, 15 years' time, they've got a whole trilogy of movies they have to go through. Not so much.
Depending who it is.
In Ben's case.
Yeah.
But no, to be fair, because he
was Force Ghost, so he was in the 3 main original movies.
Yes. But mainly look at you, Owen and Baru.
Barbecue.
But so in that sense, yes, it kind of, in a weird kind of way, I suppose, suffered. Well, actually, no, suffered is too harsh because it didn't suffer because that's ultimately not what the show's about. The show's kind of filling in some of the stories you haven't seen for these characters.
Yeah.
But obviously, in that sense, there is no tension because of the aforementioned. You know what happens to them. What was very nice to see was Owen and Baru as actual characters in their own right, and kind of their connection to Luke. Because if your experience is only of the original trilogy, you're kind of left feeling very much the whole. They didn't really seem to like Luke or certainly Owen didn't seem to like Luke that much. And Baru was just kind of, again, fairly typical, I guess, for all sort of media of the time, as a female character, was kind of largely irrelevant to most stuff.
She was just the cook.
Yeah. So this was actually very nice because it was very apparent it was Baru that was always the powerhouse in that relationship. She's the one that was prepared to fight. She's the one that had made the contingency plans in the event that, they were discovered by the people they're trying to hide from. So that was some very nice character development for, I think, Baru especially, because she had been, as a character, given very poor sort of lip service in the original sort of movies. But it was a nice character, like I suppose a nice mini character arc for Owen as well. Given your interactions with him have been largely commotionally bloke in the original trilogy and hates Ben even at the beginning of this series, and is very grudging in what he has to do. So to see the lengths that he's prepared to go to defend what is essentially his nephew.
Yeah.
I've lost.
Yeah, but by marriage.
Something like that.
Because his dad married Shmi. Oh no, I suppose. Wait.
Was Shmi his sister?
No. So if
were they cousins?
No, stepbrother. Wait, no, fuck.
Oh no, because
Anakin. So Anakin would have been his stepbrother.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Stepbrother. So step cousin? No, step nephew.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he calls them Uncle Owen and Aunt Baru. So why we didn't start there, I don't know. Would have been the obvious one. But yeah, I had a weird moment then where I kind of, in my head, imprinted 10-year-old Anakin from The Phantom Menace onto Luke from this series. Anyway, I thought there were some really nice touches with this. One, I think Ben, Owen, and Baru are gonna all have really hard lives in the next 10 years because God, do they age? But it was little things for me like. It wasn't so much the Tatooine stuff. Why do I start yawning these days as soon as we put these cameras on? But no, for me it was things like I loved the lightsaber battle between Vader and Kenobi. Only because it was the little little boy in me that went to see Star Wars for the very first time all those years ago. Finally watching a really exciting lightsaber duel between full-on Darth Vader, not Anakin Skywalker with dodgy eyes and a terrible wig, actual Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it was not just it was a full-on leaps and bounds and throwing rocks at each other and everything. So it was kind of the battle I always felt they deserved in some ways. So that was very exciting, and I also liked because and you said we said it at the time it was a good on show don't tell, but the we now know when at the end of Return of the Jedi when Anakin again, as he is reverted back to at that point, takes his helmet off to look at Luke with his own eyes, and there's that horrendous scar up his head. We know where that came from now, which I thought was a really nice touch. I thought just that characterization was done really well as well. The whole, Anakin saying to Ben, "No, I killed Anakin Skywalker," and so Ben's like, "Okay, so that you can see where that then goes off for Ben when he hands over the lightsaber to Luke." But I've always thought that Alec Guinness plays that moment. I don't know if he was told, if there was any kind of foreshadowing, or if it was specific direction, or I don't know what whatever it was. But the moment when Luke says to him, "How did my father die?" If you watch, Alec Guinness does this whole kind of "fuck, what do I tell him?" moment. There's this beat, and his eyes kind of go around, and it looks, and it is that moment, and it's retroactively you can put back on it of him going, "How much of this do I tell him?" And I just think they've picked up on that and given those little moments resonance.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, knowing the kind of tinkering that George Lucas has done, that this was in no way, shape or form foreshadowing. This is very much sat on people like Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, obviously the rest of the creative team behind Kenobi, picking that moment out from the original trilogy and going, this is how we can finally pay that off, essentially.
But yeah, so it's nice moments like that. I thought they were quite nice. Obviously, seeing where Luke gets his little Model T16 from, that was cute. Little bit of trivia: Lola apparently is so named because Carrie Fisher had a bird called Lola, so it's a little tribute to Carrie. Not a showgirl. But what I also love about Lola,
I told him that.
I didn't say you didn't. I was telling these people that.
Yes, but you also didn't say I did.
I couldn't remember if you did, to be honest. I just remember someone told me. But Lola is also. So what else is Lola then? What else is Lola? Go on, you finish what I was going to talk about.
No, I'm just someone. You carry on.
All right, I will. Lola's a hidden Mickey. That's what I was going to say. Lola is very much a hidden Mickey. More obvious in the Star Wars branding at the start of the episode when you get the kind of flashes of the different faces. When the ears are full up, you really see the Mickey Mouse shape.
Then everything's a hidden Mickey if you look.
I don't think the toilets are, but Lola's a hidden Mickey. I think Lola's a hidden Mickey. But yeah, this has been a really enjoyable series. It's not been like the most amazingly fast-paced or adventurous, and I think there's still a few questions. Like you spotted a name in the credits of a Jedi that we don't know that actually appeared,
or a character, which was Corran.
Yeah. So either we've missed who that person is, or there was something cut. Maybe. Is it Corran they were saying was on the wall when they look at the Jedi names on the wall?
One of the YouTube videos you were watching.
Yeah, that was Nerdist, I think. They do some really good Star Wars. If you want to watch good episode critiques, Nerdist.com is a really good one to look at, actually.
And if you want to watch funny media critiques, Pitch
Meeting?
Yes.
Pitch Meeting, which has its own channel, but is also available on Screen Rant. We've been binging those the last few days. I could have seen the odd one over the year. I've watched a lot. I've seen the odd one over the years, and then I've just sat down and watched. I must have watched like 100 of them in the last 2 or 3 days. And they still make me laugh. They're so clever. Anyway, so Kenobi, I think, has been
is tight.
Actually, it's super easy. Barely. Anyway, no. But Yeah. I mean, it's been a nice show. I've enjoyed it. I think it has added something to that whole period of time. It also occurred to me watching the episode that, to the best of my knowledge, without really, really, really looking at it, but just kind of like back of a fag packet thinking and calculations, are Luke and Leia, and I think they are, the only people we've seen literally from birth to death.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of trivia, isn't it? That's something you could throw in a pub quiz. But I think as soon as you say which two characters, it's going to be kind of obvious to anyone who knows Star Wars. But you know, but yeah, I just think it's been nice. It's been fun. I know not everyone's loved it. You know, whatever. And for me, it's been as just joyful to watch. I've kind of got Star Wars fulfillment out of it. Again, which as a very small boy when Star Wars very, very first came out and everything about it excited me, I've just felt a little bit of that glow again, which has been really, really nice. Which I haven't necessarily had from everything that's been coming out lately, even if I've loved it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I adore The Mandalorian. I don't get the Star Wars excitement that I had in the 70s and 80s, if that makes sense. But it was and it's little things, because obviously it's the characters, it's the situations, it's knowing the payoffs. But it didn't. I mean, like, you know, Solo went too far. It's like again, that's in one of the pitch meeting things, which is something that I'd previously mentioned, was the whole, they made such a big deal out of the dice and the Millennium Falcon, that as someone who had watched those films hundreds of times, I remember celebrating the time I watched A New Hope for the 100th time, and I was only 10. So it had only been out like 2 years. We had a pirate copy. And I'd never seen those until Solo pointed them out to me. So you'll consider that I've seen Empire probably as many times, Jedi possibly slightly less. But you've easily got probably across those 3 films 500 viewings over decades. And I'd never seen the dice until they went, and this is how the dice got here. And I'm like, oh, were they always there? Do I need to go back and watch that? So where Solo fucked it, Kenobi's got it right. That's kind of how it feels to me. So I think it's nice. It's an addition. You know, they don't. I think they've also got options now. They don't have to end there. I mean, obviously, you can't really get Kenobi and Vader back together again. I think that was quite nicely packaged and done. But that's not to say there can't be more troubles on Tatooine. But you know, there could be another nothing to do with the Empire or the Force or the Jedi, just some kind of threat to Luke that Obi-Wan's got to get involved in. You know, that's a possibility. You can see other adventures of Leia. You can see Leia growing up and sort of, you know, taking her place in the rebellion / diplomatic community.
I think Luke is largely done because of the whole point where
his life is so boring.
Yeah,
I agree.
He's desperate.
But you've got potential to have things happening around him when he's blissfully unaware. Because again, that's part of Owen and Beru's very clear journey, is the fact that they've kept him there. One thing I was thinking of watching the scenes in the homestead, which was, I'm assuming, just a recreated set. They haven't gone back out to Tunisia and filmed at it's like a hotel or something, isn't it?
So.
Yeah. Also, the lighting on it just looks too lit. But for years and years and years, and I'm talking probably only in the last maybe 10 years, I worked out that I'd been hearing a line wrong in A New Hope every time. All those hundreds of viewings.
Is this Kate Bush all over again?
It is Kate Bush all over again. That's a different story. But when they're sitting having dinner and they're having their blue milk and their chopped up corn or whatever it was that she's pulling the green bits off and stuffing it in the, always look like a, what do you call it, like a, what's that, fondue? It looks like a fondue set. But anyway, and he's complaining that he's going to go off to the academy, and Uncle Owen's like, no, you can't, I need you for one more season. I could never work out where the chickens came from. I can tell you've got no idea what these chickens are, have you? Because Uncle Owen said, just one more season, then I can hire some more hens. He says hands, as in farm hands. I just heard hens, as in...
Yeah, I know what hens are.
I'm just explaining the difference in case it's the pronunciation's not coming out. And I could never work out why you never saw these fucking chickens. I was in my 40s before I worked out what he actually says. But this is the thing with me, as he mentioned about the aforementioned Kate Bush, and there's 101 songs that I just misheard for so many years.
But ironically, it's actually the song that is, huge at the moment thanks to Stranger Things.
Yeah, we'll probably do a Stranger Things video when it wraps up, so we can probably throw it into that one to the full story. Oh, we're teasing. Look at us being proper YouTubers. Like, subscribe, comment, and shit yourself. I don't know. You know we don't care about that. So Kenobi, thumbs up.
This is why we'll never be monetized.
This is why we'll never be monetized, but we don't care. We don't really want to be, because I'd like the freedom. Thank you very much. So yeah, we loved it. It was a really good show. I thought it's fairly solid. I think it's clear you've got the creative team that is behind your Mandalorians, your Clone Wars, your Rebels, because it just all sort of came together quite nicely with all of that. Probably slightly better than even some of the main movies have done, if we're totally honest about it.
Most of them.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to. We've got Andor in August. I want to say August. There's still more movies to come. There's what shows we've got to come. We've got Acolytes. We've got more Mando Series 3. Ahsoka. Looking forward to that. Yeah. I think is that it for TV shows for the slate for now?
I don't know. I don't follow it like you.
Yeah, God knows. But yeah, so bring it on. Let's see what comes next.